Hi, you guys. It's Denise Walsh here. Welcome to the Stop Sis podcast. I'm here with co-host Rachel Timothy. In real life, we are at a Stop Sis retreat, and we recorded something super special for you.
Yeah, so we visited the brothels here in this area, and we took the survivors with us. And then afterwards, we sat around and just had kind of like a round table conversation of what it was like for them to go inside of these illicit spas and visit these girls. And so this is a really powerful episode, I feel like.
It really is. It's raw. It's real. We had just come home, and they're sharing what they learned, their aha moments, and how it made them feel to experience seeing not only the girls, but some guys along the way, which you'll hear about in this episode. So if you're at all interested in learning about how you too can visit illicit spas in your area, be sure to sign up for our newsletter and join the free Facebook group. We support groups all around the country in visiting illicit spas in their area with the goal of truly just loving on the girls and planting the seeds of love into their heart. And as you'll see throughout this episode, those seeds start to sprout.
Yeah, and then down the road, God will let it grow, and those girls will get themselves out of those situations. That's our prayer.
Amen. So enjoy. Okay, so what I wrote down is 2 questions. Number 1, what does it feel like to be in emotional bondage? A lot of these ladies don't necessarily even know or realize what's happening. And so with that comes, they don't even know that they could be free. Yeah. So the 2 questions would be, what does it feel like to be in emotional bondage? And then what would it feel like to them to be free? When I was working with mental health clients, it was generational. They just thought this was normal, and chaos was normal, and addiction was normal. And to have a hope that didn't have to be that way, that's the spark that grows. Go ahead, Lisa. What were you going to say?
I think the emotional bondage, where you're speaking of that, I think, just like you said, some of us grow up in a household or in a situation or in a scenario that we don't realize what it is that we're going through or what it is that's happening shouldn't be happening. And coming over here may be a better situation than what they were in, but it's still not a good situation. And being able to give them that hope as we continue to share as we went from one to the next, and that love, and that we really aren't here for anything in return, just to let you know that we're here. And are you okay? Educating them, I guess, a little bit more each time on love and hope and support. Yeah.
I wrote down, is it abuse if the person doesn't know they're being abused?
And the answer was like, yes! Because your body knows, your spirit knows. Even if your mind is brainwashed, like, you know.
Yeah.
Like you said, an eagle in a chicken coop still knows it doesn't belong there.
Yeah.
It was the stark contrast was we started off with Moon, who has been there a long time. She's 60, and she now knows. I feel like with her, she's been in it long enough that she's like,
she's been visited long enough
right,
as well.
and she wants out. And the one that haunts me the most is the last one we went to. Yeah. Those 2 girls were fresh. Yeah. Like they were just plopped down there, and they don't even know what's happening. Right? They're so confused. I'm sure all these promises, they thought they were going to the promised land, and they're like looking around. Where's the promised land?
And they're in hell.
Right.
How old do you think they were?
The one who came out in the 90 was probably in her 60s, I would think. And the only reason I think that is because of, like, they don't age, right? Like and she had visible wrinkles under her eyes and her forehead. And so I would say she was probably in her 60s. The other one was much younger.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Was it one from Taiwan?
No, she wasn't
So
there.
it's a new person.
Yeah, so it was 2 new people.
Yeah, what did I say? I Google searched the place before we went there, and it said like fresh girls or new girls or something.
Did it really say that?
That-
Yeah. Well, you could. I didn't know
one
that.
who answered the door, I feel like she was probably like 30, maybe.
Yeah.
Like she was an adult.
Oh,
but
for
she
sure.
was young.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other one was 50s or 60s for sure.
Very little English.
No, like nothing.
Not like
All
nothing.
they understood was come in.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only words they understood was
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
Yeah, but seeing I think they haunted me because I saw Moon first, and I saw those two. I'm calling them girls. They're women. They're adults. And knowing that is their destiny. Moon is their destiny.
Yeah.
That's what I just now am processing it and putting it together, why it's haunting me. Because they're just now starting this life.
I'm the one that wouldn't let go of your hands in the middle.
Yeah.
She's in the middle.
She's in the middle, and she really believes that her sex trafficker is her friend.
Yeah.
Because he does all these nice things for her, and, you know... She did not want to let go of me, though. She absolutely did not want to let go of me. You guys saw me, I kept trying to leave, and she pulled me back, but she really does believe that guy is her friend. Right? Because abuse is never just abuse. It's both.
Yeah.
They're the nicest guy in the world, and then they're the cruelest guy in the world.
Yeah.
It's that programming, mental manipulation.
And in the beginning, it's so strong. The love bombing is so strong. Which was probably what they've gone through, right? I promise you, you're going to have this better life in America and this amazing job and this amount of money. And they probably treat them really well, right? And then the first spear hits, right? Whatever that looks like for them. And then you keep hoping that it's going to go back to that initial love bombing stage. And it never does, ever.
Right.
And you just accept crumbs.
Yeah.
You just accept crumbs and it's like your brain keeps going back to that initial stage.
Yeah.
And it was weird seeing all the stages. The beginning, like the middle, the woman that wouldn't let go of me, and the ones that... It's like we went backwards in time.
We started with Moon.
Yeah.
And then by the end, it was the
fresh.
The fresh
I hate
girls.
that.
But seeing the impact that you guys have had on Moon was incredible. The thing that got to me the most was when she said she wanted to have a house and a chicken farm.
I know, right?
She is able to have a vision for herself.
And she doesn't want to disappoint us.
That killed me. When she said, I won't disappoint you. Like she's worried about... She kept saying, don't worry, don't worry.
Yeah, I'm sure it's confusing for her to process our love, process what we're doing, what it means, like that's got to be hard for her to understand.
They all seem confused by that.
But that's what we're trying to decipher right now. It's hard for us to feel and see. And again, we're all emotionally exhausted just from not what we went through, but what we went through, what we felt, what we saw in you, because we know your story. We know where you've been, and the bravery and the strength and the courage that it takes to be able to stand there and do and say without a shadow of a doubt what you're doing. It gives us all of that extra step of enlightenment. Truly, it's like the sun keeps coming out and the clouds are moving and it keeps getting brighter. And that's what Laura and I were talking about in the car. I'm like, we've all got our different stories, but we're all here for the trauma or the impact that something has had on us. But we keep showing up. And we keep doing something to make a difference for someone because of the fact that something along the line did that for us.
I was thinking when you all were with Moon, I was in the vehicle praying, and I thought of the Bible story of Hagar in how, she was so alone and desperate, and then God spoke to her and she said, "You're the God who sees me." And I thought, isn't that amazing that, here's Moon, and we know a little bit about her life story. She was here and she was there, and she went through all these things. And yet here in this spa in Central Illinois, God saw her and he sent people to her. And I just thought, isn't that amazing that, I wonder how she feels about if she recognizes that, or maybe she will someday, like that God sees her and sent people to her.
Yeah.
Which again goes right back to the boba tea. What's her name?
Oh, Prashanti.
Prashanti.
Oh my goodness.
And saying, because again, it was like she asked and you shared, and then she wanted to share and wanted to ask more and wanted to know more. And she was like, I feel like your angels were sent to me today. Mm-hmm. And it was like, we were just next door, but.
And that wasn't our original mission, but that seemed to be put in our path.
So organically, authentically spoken. Nothing rehearsed, nothing planned. Because again, we were gifting bags next door, and we walk in to buy something so we can go potty.
Right.
But the blessing, I was like, oh yeah, this is so real.
It just goes to show that there's hurting people everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that connection, when you make that connection, then you're able to open those doors.
Yeah, I saw myself in the women that we saw today. Mm-hmm. And all of them. I saw myself in that emotional bondage. And it was a weird experience. It was almost like I was going back to that version of myself and asking her, like, why didn't you just leave? You weren't even in a brothel or an illicit spa. You were with your husband and your daughter. Why didn't you just leave? Why did you allow those emotional chains and that bondage to happen?
But did you see the real fear in their eyes? Like it is invisible, but it's so real.
Real. Mm-hmm. And so it got me thinking, how come no one saw that in my eyes? How come no one said, are you okay? Right? It's messing with my brain a little.
Yeah.
Like that's what I need to process.
Or did they see it and just not know what it meant?
Maybe. I didn't even see it. I felt it, but I didn't see it.
And you probably didn't know what it meant either.
No.
Well, I think there's a lot of people that don't have the tools. And that's what's so important about you guys is bringing people the tools, but also when you connect. The thing with Moon is how she came out so eagerly and was so just wanted to be seen and loved, and she hopped in that van.
Yes.
And it was just like she just wanted to be where Jesus was, and she may not be able to put that in words.
Yeah.
But that's what it was.
And when we asked her, do you know Jesus? Oh, she sobbed. Literally sobbed.
Yeah, she knows Jesus.
She sure does.
I don't know if this is true or not, but I wondered if she came out to the car because there's cameras inside, and if that makes a difference.
She won't talk inside.
Yeah.
She won't
I had that same thought when
she never has.
She won't come to the door or step outside the door, or she's been going into the van lately.
And the one we were worshiping with, we were asking her questions. She kept her back to the camera.
She did?
And she was very careful how she responded with you. Like there was a camera right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting.
Then what does freedom look like? And how often, you're right, they're invisible, but they're strong.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we respond to something that is years old, but because that tether is still there. So what does it feel like to be free?
I'm not 100% sure yet.
Oh, good answer though.
That's just me. That's just the honest truth. Like, I'm still trying to discover it myself. And sometimes it's like, yeah, you're free, but now what do I do? And I'm on my own. And like, how do I do this? How do I live this life? Where do I belong in this world? And I think a lot of those thoughts probably go through those girls' minds too. Is here, I know I have a place to live. I have food to eat. I have, I can't do a lot, but what am I doing anyways? So I'm here.
It's the devil you know versus the devil you don't.
Yeah.
At least here I know what to expect. The other side outside feels, especially because they're told, it's scary and uncertain.
And it's hard.
Yeah.
This life, this world is not easy.
Yeah.
And there are securities that they believe are securities that really aren't, but that's what they keep their hope in, and not of what do we do when we get out of here? Like if we do get out of here.
Yeah, they don't even think those thoughts. It's not crossing their mind. No. This is it, day in, day out.
Mm-hmm. But the planting of those seeds, just as long as there's like those programs where they can go somewhere for 2 years and kind of just help maybe get them to where they're able to understand the normalcy of things and can go out and do things, and go to a movie, or go out to eat with a friend, or just enjoy the little things, go to a park or whatever makes you happy. But I think that's the moments that you have to really kind of cling to, because there's so many other things that can bog you down.
Well, and I feel like when the freedom piece that you're talking about leaves a gap, it leaves a empty spot. Like you leave, even if it's darkness, there's an empty spot where it used to be, and it has to be filled. Yeah. And that's why these girls, if they ended up going to a safe house and they're away from this yuck, there's an empty place now that needs to be filled. And it could be filled with going back or good things, hope.
It's like you have to create that security in a healthy way, right? So now you're outside of the addiction, or outside of the trafficking, outside of the abuse. But now what?
Mm-hmm.
Who do I want to be? What kind of life do I want to have? How do I create community here? How do I have new healthy habits? How do I create this security?
And sometimes you want love so much, you just jump at the first thing that comes.
Mm-hmm. We try to create that same security in a new environment, but it's still that same uck.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and what love looks like.
Oh, right.
Because that's the thing too. It's like all the different lessons of love, and the way that you're brought up, or the way that you're shown love, or love is kept from you.
Freedom feels like having that calm security filled with a healthy love, surrounded by a loving community. I don't know. What does freedom feel like and look like? No emotional tethers, right? What does that feel like and look like?
What did you guys think about how many there were, where they were located, and all the people around?
Yeah, you're going in and out. What is today, Friday? People are going in and out, shopping, grabbing pizzas in these cute little shopping malls, and there's girls being sex trafficked right there. Yeah. And they don't know. People don't know that it's happening in their own community. It's not in some seedy area of town. It's right where you live. And that's what's alarming, right? Is that you don't know.
And the police know. That's
right.
alarming too.
How can it be allowed?
Yeah.
Whenever we know that it's against the law.
Well, Sally told us something. They shut one of them down.
Can
you tell the
so that there's the police have been at different anti-trafficking events that I've been to, and they said, yeah, we know this is going on, and they shut one of them down not too long ago, and then they went to court. The lady testified, the owner, and I didn't know the girls were doing that. I mean, she's not responsible at all, because she didn't know they were doing. They were doing it on their own, So yeah, and then the police said we can shut these places down, but they'll pop up again.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
They'll just
And
move.
So,
They just
Yeah.
move.
yeah.
We're in a new space.
Yeah. They can't keep ahead of it.
And that was frustrating for me. I mean, this being my first time doing anything like this, but like you sat there and you see Moon, and I was just like, let's just take her. Let's just take her in the van.
You
Let's
were-
bring her back
Put her
here.
in the van.
I mean, yeah, she was in
Let's
the
just
van.
go. Let's jump on the gas pedal. Let's go.
And then we just like let her go back in there with her
Yeah.
little rain boots on. And like, even though she's in her 60s, I just saw her as this little girl.
Yeah.
And I just,
Yeah.
my
She's
heart
such a
broke for
vulnerable
her.
soul.
And so, like, I have a hard time focusing on, I know you got to plant the seed. You got to plant the seed. Faith of a mustard seed. I know that one. But like, sometimes I'm just like, but we need like a lot of mustard seeds. You know, like, we just need a bottle of mustard for this occasion because it didn't feel like enough for me.
Me
But-
too. I felt the same way. Like, especially that last one, it's haunting me. I'm like, I failed these women. I walked in, they're fresh girls there, you know, looking terrified, and I just leave them there? I'm having a hard time with it. I'm really having a hard time with that.
But then if we would have kidnapped them, then we're no better, right?
And I don't know what the answer is, right? Like my rational brain says you can't just go in. And I know the reality. They're gonna go back to what they know, or find a husband, right? That's gonna traffic them, or it's just I know. It's just my soul feels very raw after going to this today. I can see why I was hesitant to go in the first place, you know. And then I think, well, this is no different. Like when I wrote my book and my mom was like, that was so hard for me to read. And I said, Mom, imagine living it.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's what I am doing to these women, right? I'm saying, this was so hard for me. Well, they're living it.
Yeah.
So I'm getting like a different perspective too. I'm having more compassion now
Yes.
for my family and friends that read my book and didn't know my story.
Yes.
And they were shocked by it, right? I'm like, what? When did all this happen? And they were shocked. And it was so hard to read. And so it's weird. I have compassion now for people who say it was really hard to hear your story.
Yeah.
There's many layers to this. I can see why I couldn't have done, honestly, Rachel, I could not have done this in Nashville and then just gone about my life the rest of the weekend. Like this was God's timing. God was like, no, you're going to do this in a little bubble with other people so you can process. Because there's no way I could have done this and then gone back home and been like, okay, what are we having for dinner? Oh, it's church. I couldn't have done it.
Mm-hmm.
And that would have been fair to my family either, you know. So the timing was really perfect. I don't know if I'll do it again, to be quite honest. I don't know. Like I need to process this, heal from this, see what God, I need to have those conversations with Jesus, right?
Yes.
But one thing that I know, I am so much more healed than I thought. When we were in the presence of that sex trafficker and you were holding his hand and I was right there, I didn't shake once.
Okay, explain a little. That's true. You didn't explain a little bit more because all you said was I was standing there holding the hand of a sex trafficker. So
For the people listening.
I totally forgot. So that was the spa that we went to and the guy was coming out and you, of course, jumped out of the van. Like
I did put the car in park, but I almost forgot.
Your hazard lights on.
I didn't mean to.
The door was still open.
Yeah, didn't mean to.
Yeah, and I didn't know. We thought he was a buyer.
Mm-hmm. I did too.
I thought he was a buyer.
I did too.
So yeah, I saw you standing very close to him though, and I got out of the van because your eyes were closed. His eyes were open and he had that smirk. I call it the narcissistic smirk. You guys don't know anything about narcissism. There's this classic narcissistic smirk that they do when they know evil, they're being evil. You know what I mean? Like you were praying over him like this, like he's here, right? You're here holding his hands. And the fact that I even got out of the car surprised me. I really was shocked that I even did that.
It's the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, and I did not shake. And I knew you were okay. It's not like I thought, you know, you were in danger, which seems weird to even say out loud,
but
right?
the way that you both stood there together.
Yeah, that was the thing.
Right.
Noelle was like, right behind
You
you.
stepped up to almost engage, but not close to it, not right up
We're
against
like your
her.
support system.
Yeah.
But you stepped into a
Yeah.
space of your presence.
We got your back.
And,
Yeah, and it was like, I just felt like, not today, Satan, not today. And I'm going to get out. And yeah, it was like, oh, wow, I did not shake, right? And I know sex traffickers, right? And I know that it's a grooming process. Like, I knew he wasn't going to harm you in that moment. That's just not the way they work. I knew he wasn't going to pull you off. I knew none of that was going to happen. It wasn't on my radar. But just to be in that present and then to see you holding his hand, that bothered me. It still is bothering me. I know you're okay. I don't know why. I was like, I have to just be right there.
but we know the Holy Spirit is stronger and more powerful. So what she was doing by touching him was putting that on him.
Oh, totally. And you know, of course, a lot of it is just me thinking to myself, like, I wouldn't be able to do that. Like, you're doing this amazing thing, right? Just like you were saying, like doing what Jesus would do. I'm not there yet. I don't know what I would do, but I wouldn't be holding his hand, you know. But I didn't have any like bad feelings either towards the guy, which is weird, right? It wasn't like
Not at that point, but a little bit later we got a little,
So we'll just quickly explain for the listeners. He said, after Rachel prayed, he said that he was the one that brought them from China. For 25 years ago, he rescued them from China and brought them here. And that he is their friend, which is why we are assuming that he's the trafficker.
Well, and he says he takes them.
And he's the one that takes them to the airport, takes them grocery shopping. He takes them all these places, which means he's their handler. And he basically told us that.
Yeah.
And so it goes from buyer to trafficker to Satanist in the 3-minute time.
Yeah, it happens so fast.
Well, because of the situations that you've had before, where, again, you walked up, can I pray for you? Nope, I'm good. To where he was engaging.
Yeah.
And not backing down from his standpoint either.
No, I honestly, I'm so dumb. I thought his eyes were closed and he was praying along with me.
oh no, he was doing the smirk.
And then he rambled off. I am Michael, the son of James, the son of Gideon, the son of...
Wait, first he said, I believe in God.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. First he says, I believe in God too, but I am Michael, the son of James, the son of Gideon, and just rambled off all of these. And then he said, welcome to Babylon. And then he looked at me and said, do you understand? And I said, yes. And then he kind of did a, hand and walked away. So it shook us all.
Yeah.
You said there was never been a trafficker there either. Remember when I asked you?
Yeah.
That was my main concern, honestly. I said, I don't know what I'm going to do if I see it. If I see a sex trafficker, I don't know what I'm going to do. Well, now I know. Now I have an answer for
pray
that.
over him.
I wasn't praying over him. I was not.
No, you pray for your girl who's praying.
Yes, exactly. It was weird feeling God's presence in that moment. That was, I think God wanted me to feel that.
That he's more powerful than anything,
Right.
even that evil.
Right. Makes me think back to God, all the times in my life evil was done to me. God was right there. I just didn't know it.
Yep. Yep. So true. Denise, what was your feelings about Michael?
Yeah, it felt really heavy.
Like you were ready to go home.
Yeah. It was like, it felt like the color was taken away a little bit. It just felt really heavy.
But you changed.
And there was a little bit of like, let's get the heck out of here.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, let's just go home.
yeah, we're not playing this game. Like, we're getting out of here.
But we
weren't done yet. And so the question was, do we let this guy scare us off, or do we finish what we came to do?
Right on. You gave me chill bumps.
And so we finished. We only had 2 left.
And you said, not today, Satan.
Not today, Satan. We are not going to get scared off.
Yeah.
We're getting our color back.
That's a t-shirt.
So what's the main thing that you took away from this experience?
There are so many of these women that need people to come love on them with consistent little touches, saying, I'm here for you when you're ready. Yes. I'm here for you. I'm going to love you. I think it just needs to keep happening. More people need to know about it. It's so important.
Yeah.
The power of prayer, watching you.
Oh, yeah, girl. Talk about that for a second. What came over you 2 or 3 times?
I think just I've been in some really dark places too. And it's when people just prayed with me that's when you can actually feel like there is a little bit of light or hope. And even if you can't trust people or believe what they're saying, when someone starts praying, it shifts the atmosphere. And like there's no words sometimes, but you can pray.
Yeah, it was like we were all in the car, like, what do we do? What do we do? And then all of a sudden you see Laura with her hand stretched out and she's just
it was amazing.
praying. And
it's like they can't stay there. You know, like they need Jesus and they need protection. And if we can't pick them up and take them out, we can pray them out.
Yeah, I feel like, Laura, you always grounded us. Like we had this, experience, and then we were back in that van, and you brought us back to our rock, to God and to Jesus. That's how I felt. I see that hand go up. I'm like, okay, that's right. I forgot. That's right. We're standing on a firm foundation. Yeah. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah.
I think my aha moment today was that they're hurting people everywhere, even at the coffee shop. But those little seeds planted over time make a huge difference. And so it might not be us, the same person, planting that seed over time. But as we plant seeds over time, God will use them to grow. Because you can see the ladies who've had a group come to them consistently. Their heart is softened. They're more open. They are starting to dream. Yeah. And so our job is that seed planter. Whether it's we meet someone once at the cashier getting us coffee and we're planting seeds and offering hope and a smile and all of that, or if it's somebody where we're going consistently and really getting to know them, change is possible. Healing is happening.
Today, so a lot of people will cancel play-ins when it's raining. Right? And it was raining hard. Yeah. And it was cold and it was windy. But we did it, and we continued to do it, completing our list. And just like now, the sun is shining, the birds are chirping. It's absolutely beautiful here. So it's just a reminder that in the messy, difficult, stormy, hard days, it is about doing what it is. Whether you need a group or an umbrella or a whatever, because again, things can always, we may not feel like it. We've talked about that, you may not feel like it. But the things that we need to do for the reason it needs to be done. And again, the dark places, there needs to be light shined in those dark places.
And God is there through the whole storm. I mean, and I felt that today for sure. It was amazing.
Yeah, you were crying quite a bit in the car.
I didn't cry a lot. I just wanted to hold her. I just wanted to and take her back with me, and she was so thankful. And that book that you gave her,
It was such a God thing.
I mean, you would have thought.
Remember that book? Did you break? Yeah.
Just for her, yeah. Because it's in Korea, or Korean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you would have thought you gave her something priceless.
I know.
She was just so happy to have that. And then when it was translated to what it said it was, and I mean, she broke down, and then that made me break down. And
the way that she wrapped her arms around Rachel.
Oh yes,
she's my girl.
Yeah, and then she grabbed my hand, and she grabbed I think Laura's hand and your hand, and I mean, she just wanted to hold on to us and feel that. And I mean, you could feel in the van just that presence, and it was amazing.
Yeah, one of the things she translated through the phone was, "My heart aches for you at times," when she thinks of us. And
she's worried that we're worried about her.
Yeah.
And doesn't want to disappoint us. Won't disappoint us.
Yeah. Yeah, she's precious.
No, to what was her name?
Tasika.
When you played worship for her, she just grabbed our hands, and then she, just watching her face the whole time, it was like it transformed her, and she could go to a different place. And she was just swinging her arms and had the biggest smile. And I thought, it's not just prayer, but it's the worship too, that they need that.
Yeah.
So powerful.
Yeah, we played "It Is Well With My Soul," and she actually started singing it at the end. It was so cool. So what does it do for you perspective-wise? Your own life, moving forward from this?
It matters. The work matters. The conversations matter. The prayer, the listening, the communicating. Allowing that space and that time. Because we have to rally up. We have to, and you read it in the Bible, you put on your armor. But I've heard you say the warrior, so and like the post that I made yesterday coming up, there's 2 or 3 people that's commented that says, "You are a warrior." I've never seen, I'm a fighter, but a warrior? I'm like, cool. Heck yeah.
That's
right?
empowerment. Right
well,
there.
the ownership of again, not that I wasn't worthy of that word, but it's like the embodiment of that word and to see it in action.
Well, and do you guys see, you're not this broken victim anymore. You have a purpose. God is using you. Today showed that. You're not this broken victim anymore.
Well, and I honestly think, I had an idea of what we were going to be doing today, but I wasn't prepared for the boba tea lady, Shanti, and it was a reminder to me that even in the most mundane things or in my everyday normal life, I'm not going to get with a group of women every weekend and we're going to go hunt down these people at these brothels and pray with them. But although I do know where one is now in my town, my mom didn't know either. I made her privy to that. She's like, "Oh, are you serious?" So we might be paying a visit. She said, "What if I would have booked a massage there?" I said, "They'd say, this isn't for you." But anyway, my whole point was that I can do those things in the simplest of times, in the most ordinary scenarios. And she, that girl opened up so much to us, and just, I don't even know if she was a Christian, but she let us pray for her, and then she called us angels, and she knows that we know Jesus, and we showed that to her today, and we can do that anytime.
Yeah.
No
As
matter what we're praying, as everyone has a different way of praying, but we would, yes, Jesus.
Yes.
She was responding. She responded in a way 2 or 3 different times. And again, not knowing if she is a Christian or God is who she calls on, but she was in agreement.
But you could tell she had a lot of trauma from her past.
Mm.
And your prayer, I was wondering if you picked up on something from her, because the things you were saying, even though it was, some of it was generalizations, like some of it felt very directly towards her.
Yeah. Just listening to the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
She obviously, you could just tell from what she said, and I don't know if it's a cultural thing in India, but she's like, I'm a woman, I just have to survive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
it very much
suffer.
Yeah.
Very much is an India thing.
I mean, that's just terrible. She's like, and now she's here, and hopefully she's not being abused anymore or mistreated. But if that's the way she was raised, who knows who she's going to be attracted to here, right? That would victimize her again. So,
yeah.
I mean, like, she hasn't been able to get a job. That's what she's been saying. But again,
hopefully, my prayer is that she'll find a church that will like take her in, and like that will become her new community, right? Like that can become her family here, because her family's obviously over there.
Yeah,
and
she's
she misses
so
them,
lonely.
although she grew up with all of this abuse and neglect and whatever it was. So.
And what was so cool is she said we were the push that she needed to get back to work on the things that she has been neglecting herself, because she was losing that drive.
That motivation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love when she said that.
Oh, this is the push I needed. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
I have chills just saying it.
Yeah, I know.
And then you showed up.
I know.
Our posse.
Yeah. She's like, what are you guys? Yeah, we were.
Apparently, the angels needed today. There are no words.
Yeah, I think I even responded with, "We're just girls with trauma." I did.
Oh God! She was immediately like, "I'm in."
Yeah, she was.
I'm here for it. I'm here. Tell me more.
Well, it was an honor to do this with you guys. Absolute honor. And I hope it was cleansing and freeing in a sense, empowering in another sense. Because
inclusion. It's the inclusion. Rachel asked me to go with her.
Of course I did.
In Tennessee, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, I'll go. I didn't know really what I was saying yes to.
Wait, hold on. When we were in Tennessee, you were packing. Were you packing this time?
I actually did not pack.
Oh.
You would have known. You would have known.
It's a different purse.
But no, it is the same purse.
Oh.
But because of what we saw today, I will not be without her again. Just because.
I did think of that. I didn't think I even said to you.
You did. You said, Lisa, this is why you should have been back. Everyone has a different opinion about it. But, you know,
and Mount Juliet with you guys.
Right. I will. Absolutely. So it was, to me, it was something that I felt very peaceful about not needing to. And it was also about crossing state lines. I don't know how that goes.
But it's true.
But it was the words. I hope it encourages those of you that this was your first time. Was it your first time? Yeah. No? Yeah? Wow. I hope you understand that this is a team. Whenever Rachel, you said that in a post, somebody said, our team in Tennessee. I was like, we didn't just do this once. This is a thing.
Ready or not.
Right? It's like, push up your sleeves. It's time to go. But again, it's like, because it matters. And that's the thing. And I think those are the things that we have to remember, that things aren't always going to feel right at the time. And it is going to be scary. And it is going to be hard. And you may not know what it is that you're supposed to do. But when you're surrounded with others that can give you, just like from shopping for them. We were so excited, picking the colors and making sure some of them had pearls on them and searching through all of the different things and going back to the fact that the bravery that it takes to get over ourselves sometimes, because again, it can be triggering and it can be connecting to a different space. But if we remember who we are doing it for and why we are doing it, I think that being part of a team.
Yeah.
I will say, I was not scared once today with you girls. Like, I felt completely safe. I was not worried about anything. If anything, I was worried I was going to mess up a prayer or something. But like, I didn't. That's why I was just like, oh, yes, Jesus. Yes, Jesus.
And I even agree.
The rooter.
The blue.
Yeah. The blue.
Yep.
It makes me want to raise awareness. Like you're telling me that there's these spas right in Mount Juliet where we live. And it makes me want to shout it from the rooftops. You people know what's happening here. It's not a Sons of Freedom movie. It's happening right here.
Everywhere.
Yes, I feel lit up inside about that. I really do.
So
Let's start a social media movement.
I feel like you've been in an array of emotions. I mean,
She processes fast.
now we're on to anger.
It's not even anger. It's honestly, it's passion.
Passion.
It's conviction.
Righteous rage.
Yes, it is righteous rage. And, well, it's not even righteous rage. It's that people just don't know. It's not their fault.
Yeah.
I didn't know. So you told me. And if you don't know, and I firmly believe if people knew, then we would see more being done about it. I really do. Maybe I'm naive, but I really do believe that, right? Just when I've talked to people about, even politicians, right? About sex trafficking, child trafficking, I really do believe that if people knew it was happening, they hear the words, right? It's happening in your own neighborhoods. But they don't see it for themselves.
Like, they're like, not my neighborhood.
But also, if you know about it, and even if you see it, there's no legislation that can stop it.
Right.
So
that's why I want to change.
Right. There's nothing you can do about it.
Right. That's why I want to change. I'm going to see. I'm going to talk to Senator Pody, who's our senator, and see.
Hi. Oh my goodness, you need help?
Calvary. I think somebody wrote a book about that called like Open Blind Eyes or something.
That sounds vaguely familiar.
We don't know. We can't just say, "Oh, we can't do anything about it." We don't know.
Right.
Right.
Right. There are really good senators and representatives, and well, the representative is not so one I was running against. But anyway, the senator, I'm meeting with him in 2 weeks, so I am going to definitely bring this up and say, what can we do?
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is to decrease the demand, because if there was no demand, it wouldn't be happening. So,
exactly.
So the men that are doing this need healing. They need God. They need, you know, and so that they're not creating the demand for all these girls to be trafficked.
Right. Sex trafficking is a multi-million-dollar business, and American men are the number one consumers.
All over the world.
They treat it as if it's normal.
Right. Yeah. American men are the number one consumers all over the world. Exactly. They're traveling for child sex. They're traveling. They bring women with them as like a fake couple, you know. Yeah. So that goes to a whole like porn. Yeah. You know, if you trace it back, it's porn. There are a lot of bills being passed about it's more for children, which is really good though, because
against the child.
Right, because if you're watching porn as a child, you know, you're growing up and thinking this is normal, so that addictive thing that kicks in.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother.
Yeah, that's a whole other topic for sure.
We'll tackle porn on the next retreat.
But that sounds weird. But yeah, I think the going from sad to almost hopeless at a point to
I felt it all.
You felt it.
But I did too. I mean,
like
here I was writing my journal. Like I felt awful. Wish there was more I could do. I told you, like planting a seed. We needed a bottle of mustard, but then I don't know if Denise said something or you said something, and it was like that turning point of. But wait, like we were literally doing nothing but getting tea and using the restroom, and we touched somebody in a positive way. So yeah, it is. It's a lot of emotions.
Mm-hmm.
A lot to take in and process.
And just imagine how different it would have been or would have felt had we not had that moment with Jesus this morning.
Yeah.
That seemed to kind of help us.
Oh, I'm sure
armor
I
up.
wasn't shaking, and for the first time, right, just yesterday, if we had done this, I would have been shaking in that sex trafficker's presence.
Yeah.
But remembering that Jesus was with me, was right there, I was like, "You got this? Okay, good." Because we both know I don't have it. I hope you got it.
Well, you looked big and bad, I'll tell you that. Oh.
I thought you were packing.
I was packing. I had Jesus next to me.
Jesus.
Oh, we're getting gangster now. Well, you want to close this out, Denise?
Well, we are gonna. One of the things that we see with these ladies is that they could physically leave, but emotionally they're tied. And so we're going to end with an exercise, and you'll have all afternoon to do this, to write a letter to any consistent emotional or continued emotional strings that you may have, whether it be a guilt that you're still carrying, a shame that you're still carrying, or a resentment from somebody who did not live up to your expectations, who did something that they should or should not have done. And we're going to give you a chance to release an emotional string tonight at our fire.
Just one?
We've got lots of letters.
It's going to be, there's a big fire.
Big fire.
And I think at the end of the day, as we always say, it's not a flip of the switch, it's an onion layer. And you'll have a situation and you'll go, oh my gosh, I'm not shaking. Oh my gosh, I could pray for this trafficker. Oh my gosh, I spoke my truth. Oh my gosh, I'm not anxious. I slept well. Like as you start taking steps on your healing journey, you'll look back and just see how far you've come. And we pray that this experience and today is just a step in that direction. So thank you for saying yes to this adventure, even though you may not have known at all what you're getting yourselves into.
I'm still not 100%.
Yeah, I know you explained it, but you didn't.
Yeah.
It's a bit unexplainable.
Only because you don't know how you are going to react.
Right.
Right? You don't know what it's going to, what buttons it's going to.
That is true. And each time it is a little different. I mean, I did not expect to be face to face with a trafficker today.
Well, and my naivety about the whole situation, when I thought of brothel, I thought of like olden times when they go to the saloon and the girls have the big hoopy skirts and the corsets, you know, like what is a brothel nowadays in 2024? And so,
Girl, you need to come hear me speak.
Yeah, I do. You haven't heard me speak? No. Really?
Yeah.
We'll plan an event. We'll come. Okay. I'll do it.
All right. So in closing, if you are interested in being a part of Stop Sis on your own healing journey, reach out to stopsuffering.org. Sign up for our newsletter. Email us. We are traveling all over the country to share the atrocities of human trafficking, but also the hope of the healing journey. And we want to partner with you on your healing journey too. Thank you for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you so much for listening to this powerful episode of Stop Suffering in Silence. If you are interested in booking Rachel to speak at your event, workshop, school, church, or organization, then please email racheltimothy.stopsis@gmail.com. If you are interested in donating to the Stop Sis ministry, then please check out the link in the description box or show notes below. Or you can email stopsis@protonmail.com. And finally, if you are currently suffering in silence or you know somebody who is, then check out our website, stopsuffering.org, to learn more about our online programs and resources. We will always recommend that you also reach out to your local resources and find a counselor that you can trust, because nobody is meant to suffer alone. Have an amazing week, and thank you for being here.